We live? Does it say recording on your end?
Yeah, we're live.
Next up, I know we just mentioned Carson Wentz and the Philadelphia Eagles. We got a Pennsylvania showdown. Eagles are going into Heinz Field against the Steelers. Current spread, Pittsburgh Steelers -7. Now let's talk about the Eagles first. I know entering last Sunday night, they're 0-2-1. Laughingstock of the NFL. Carson Wentz is one of the lowest rated quarterbacks in the NFL this season, and they pull out a win against the 49ers. A lot of people are taking this to be, oh, maybe Philadelphia's building some momentum. Hey, the number one in the NFC East, things are kind of trending in the right direction. I don't buy it for a second. The Philadelphia Eagles were gifted that win against the Niners. Nick Mullins pretty much hand-wrapped and gifted it as soon as he threw that pick six in the fourth quarter to give him the lead. He missed the fullback on that wheel route in the first quarter on that first drive for an easy touchdown. And obviously the 49ers weren't at full strength. Not even Nick Bosa, but Jimmy G, offense that Shanahan likes to run, he couldn't really do it. They're missing some old linemen. They're missing some wide receivers. Things aren't really clicking for them from an injury standpoint, even though the talent and the coaching is still there. So the Eagles didn't prove anything to me. I am not buying them at all. They have way too many injuries, way too many issues at the quarterback position, and I'm just not buying the hype. What do you think about those Eagles?
Wentz, he had some sparks of life. He started kind of looking like the old Wentz on a few plays. The one where he rolled out and threw it and hit his guy about 30 yards down the field, that was an amazing, classic, vintage Wentz throw. But I don't think he's going to be able to sustain it, especially with the weapons he has around him.
What do you think?
A lot of injured receivers.
What do you think the problem is? Do you think he's hurt? Do you think he just lost confidence? Do you think he's never good?
I think it's confidence. I think he could start coming back, but it's also hard to build connections with guys you don't work with every day. So these new people keep coming to the team, and he can't create that connection. Or if you have somebody you've been thrown to, you get those little tiny differences that make the difference in the NFL.
Did you
Another interesting point.
Go ahead.
Another interesting point on the Eagles is they're -5 on turnovers this year.
You know why?
-5 in the turnover ratio.
You know why? There's only two quarterbacks.
They turn the ball over.
Yeah, there's only two quarterbacks in the NFL who've thrown an interception in every single game. Guess who they are?
Carson Wentz.
Yep. This guy's in the NFC too.
I know him. Danny Dimes?
Yep. I mean, I wouldn't call him Danny Dimes anymore, but yeah, Daniel Jones and Carson Wentz, both of them.
Come on, give the man some respect.
Here's the thing. You throw interceptions every game against teams like Washington and in a 49ers team that, yeah, their defense is pretty strong, but without Richard Sherman, Nick Bosa, and Solomon Thomas out there, they're not that great. You're throwing picks against those kinds of defenses. Cincinnati? Are you kidding me? Cincinnati. Okay? He's had picks in all of those games. And now you go against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense at Heinz Field, the crisp autumn air flowing, and you got those yellow towels just spinning out of control everywhere. I don't think Carson Wentz leaves that game without A, being hurt, or B, at least 3 turnovers. This guy's a fumble machine, and TJ Watt's on the other side of that line of scrimmage coming down at him. I don't see this ending well for Carson Wentz.
Yeah, you got too many people. Yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick back there patrolling the field. He's a ball hawk. He's going to probably snag an interception. They just got too much talent on the defensive line.
Dupree is one of the most underrated players on that Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Yeah.
TJ Watt gets a lot of credit. Minka Fitzpatrick in that secondary gets a lot of credit. But Bud Dupree is what gets that run defense going, and his transition from run to pass is just one of the best footworks I've ever seen in the NFL.
Great pass rusher and can also cover. So he can literally do it all. But Pittsburgh Steelers bring so many unique blitzes, too. Their defense has been solid year in and year out. Yeah, I think Philly will this game. Big Ben, I think he's just going to keep playing consistent. He hasn't been playing out of this world, but he hasn't been playing bad. I think he's been playing just good enough to, keep winning games and keep the Steelers in it. And that's what the Steelers need with their defense behind them. I think Mike Tomlin's going to have these guys coached up. I think he's a great coach.
Yeah, they did have a
see what he does with every team.
They had a pseudo bye last week. They were preparing to go against the Titans. It never happened. So they do have no new injuries. We'll say that.
Yeah. The biggest thing of weeks in the NFL is another week to get healthy. They got an extra few days to prepare for Philly. Philly, Monday night game coming in.
Sunday night.
Steelers, Sunday night game.
Yeah.
Steelers coming in. I think Steelers are going to take this one. I'll take Steelers plus the points.
Yeah, I'll take the points of the Steelers too. I never like taking points this big, but I just don't see this Eagles offense being able to do anything. I really don't. I think this is the game where everyone realizes who they are, and they're just a fraud this year, and they're at the top of the NFC East for now, and that's not saying much. But I think they get exposed this game, and I think it'll be pretty rough. Next up, we got the Indianapolis Colts. Very surprising defense so far, maybe the best in the NFL, against the Cleveland Browns. Even more surprising, given that their record is now 3-1 for the first time in my life. They're coming off a crazy. They hung 40-something points up on the Cowboys. Odell Beckham finally scoring touchdowns.
They scored touchdowns every which way they wanted.
Here's the recipe for the Browns to have success. It starts and ends with Baker only throwing for 100 to 200 yards. You know why? Because that means they had the lead and they're running the ball very well. They had 300 yards. And I'm not saying you can do that against every team. We can do that every week. But if they can run the ball 150 to 200 yards every game, take the pressure off of Baker because he's proven he cannot handle it. He's not accurate enough to do that. Doesn't matter what weapons he's surrounded with. You need to run the ball. Give him an opportunity to give the ball in open space to Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry, and you leave it like that, this team's good enough to make some noise.
So I'm kind of surprised that the line's only at 1.5.
You got the
I would have thought it would have been bigger.
It should have been bigger for the Colts.
Yeah, I think it should have been.
The Browns are home. The Browns are.
I think Browns should have even been favored in this game.
Really?
Because Colts offense, offense is lackluster. Their quarterback play has not been good this year. Browns may have lost Nick Chubb, but they still have Kareem Hunt back there. D'Ernest Johnson, who even knows who that guy was, ran for almost 100 yards, albeit on Dallas.
8 rushes. He was out of his mind.
And they had a third running back in there that was just racking up yards. So I think the Browns just wear them down. They're going to lean on that run. They still have very capable running backs to stay in that run game. And I think Odell's starting to get in a rhythm, starting to feel himself a little bit. Him and Jarvis Landry out there, balling. I usually have a rule that says don't bet on the Browns, but I think I'm going to change it this weekend. I really like the Browns. I think they're going to win by 4.
So we're going to disagree, I think, for only the second time so far. I normally, in a situation like this, you got a home dog, only a 1.5. You got the Browns, you got momentum, you got all this. But at the end of the day, the Browns are the Browns. And I think the Colts have a better head. I think Frank Reich is one of the best head coaches in the NFL. I think he's in my top 5 for sure. I think Phillip Rivers each and every week is getting more comfortable in that new offense on that new team, kind of taking control of that mantle of leadership. And I think he will do just enough, maybe 20-some points, 20, 24 points, nothing crazy. And that defense, this Colts defense, I think, is becoming the best defense in the NFL. They haven't been tested too much lately. So far, it's been pretty early this season. But I think that Colts defense suffocates Baker. I think we're going to see the Baker we've seen in the past year where he looked like he had no idea what he was doing. I think they take away the run early. They make Baker beat them, and I don't think Baker can. And I'll take the Colts here minus 1.5. It's pretty much a pick 'em, but I see the Colts winning anywhere from 3-7. And I think Baker kind of comes down to earth because this Colts defense is not the Cowboys defense. And I think the Baker and the Browns are going to realize that pretty early on. And then once you put that pressure on the Browns, it's hard for them to come back. The Browns are a team where when they're winning, when they're leading, kind of like the Ravens, they can win a football game. But if they had to come back from behind, they just can't do it with Baker. And they don't even have the talent that the Ravens do. So I just don't see them winning this game. If they prove me wrong, they'll be 4-1, and I might have to become a believer after that.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
They finally got me this week to be a believer. It took a lot of years.
People don't win money betting on the Browns, but hey,
do not win money betting on the Browns.
All right. Next up, we got another NFC East matchup. We got the Giants against the Cowboys. The Cowboys are 1-3 and somehow they are 10-point favorites in this football game. They are at home, and the Giants are the Giants. What are your initial thoughts?
I don't think I've ever seen a 1-3 team be a 10-point favorite ever.
Yep, I agree. That's the Cowboys effect there. They know people are going to bet on them, and they do.
Yeah. I mean, the Cowboys' offense is good, but their defense is so bad. I think the Giants are going to try to slow this game down. If I was the Giants, I would try to slow this game down. A lot of runs, preach ball security. Cowboys, I'm not 100% sold on their offense. I know the numbers are all gaudy and look really great, but they've all been from way down. A lot of comebacks in the fourth quarter where defenses are up by 18, so their whole goal is, don't give up a huge play. We'll let them dink and dunk us for 10, 15, 20 yards at a time as long as we don't give up that big play. Zeke's always phenomenal. That Giants defense, the run defense is bad. So I think Zeke has a big day, but I think Giants keep it within 10. But I wouldn't put a big lock on it.
Here's my thoughts on that. A lot of people are saying this Cowboys offense, it's only working because they're down by so much. But I think this last week kind of proved that when you're down by a lot of points, it's not easy in the NFL to just go up and down the field for 40 points a game that the Cowboys have been doing. If you look at the Colts and Bears game, it's not like the Bears who were down a good chunk, or the Raiders against the Bills. They were down by multiple touchdowns, and they couldn't just march down the field. Even when you're kind of playing in that environment, it's still hard to do. And the Cowboys, what makes me a real believe in their offense is that they weren't just doing, dump offs, 10 yards here, 5 yards there. Dak Prescott was really launching that ball down the field to CeeDee Lamb, to Dalton Schwartz, the tight end, Cooper, Gallup, everyone kind of getting involved. And he's leading the league in passing yards for a reason. I think this team can throw the ball around. They can definitely rush it too when they're able to, but it's just tough when you're down to do that. And I just don't see the Giants getting up on the Cowboys. You talk about the Cowboys defense being so bad. The Giants offense is just as bad, if not worse. They're averaging like maybe 10 points a game. Without Saquon, they got Golden Tate trying to find Jalen Ramsey after the game. They have way too many issues going on. This is a get-right game for the Cowboys. I can feel it. It's like a game where the Cowboys know they're better than they've been playing. They know that they have a new coach, new offensive scheme and system, even though the coordinator is the same. But their defense whole scheme is brand new under Mike Nolan, and I think week to week, they're saying that preseason is now over after week 4. And by that, I think they mean that they're just getting more comfortable with their roles and their assignments. I don't think Jalen Smith should be anywhere near a football field personally, but hopefully he figures things out. And this Giants offense is so bad that we could put in like a JV high school team and it would be pretty competitive. So I think the Cowboys get right. They get turnovers. They build momentum on defense. And then the Cowboys put up 30 points. I see this being like a 30-17 ball game. It's a lot of points, but I like the Cowboys here. They need this game. The Giants are waning. Them and the Jets are just competing on who's going to get Trevor Lawrence. So I'll take the points here. It's a lot of points in the division matchup, but I'll take the Cowboys -10 here. Any closing thoughts on that game?
Yeah, the biggest issue with the Cowboys, which if they turn this around, I could see them start winning a lot of spreads, is if they can start eliminating the first half turnovers.
They have so many fumbles, and that's it tilts the game. It tilts the game because you get down, you make the defense play on their own 30-yard line. Bad things are just bound to happen, and it's unfortunate.
Right. So once they start figuring that out, I'll start believing in them more. But I just don't know. Division opponent. Hey, you know who's side now for the Cowboys?
It's Jason Garrett revenge game.
Jason Garrett revenge game. And Jason Garrett did one thing really well in Dallas, and that's have Dallas lose football games. So that trend may continue.
We'll see about that. Hopefully for me that doesn't happen. All right, there's one more game on the Sunday slate. We'll go over the ones that the spreads aren't released, and we'll talk more about why that might be in a second. We have Sunday Night Football, Minnesota Vikings against Seattle Seahawks. In Seattle, no 12th man, but it is Seattle. They are home. They are damn good at home, and Russell Wilson is on another planet this year. Mossing, what are your thoughts in this game? It looks like it might be a sneaky trap game. It is Kirk Cousins in prime time, though. Give me your thoughts.
Sneaky trap game, yes, but I think the Kirk prime time negates that. I think the Seattle has kind of been. Last week, I did not think they looked great, but I think Russ really bounces back this week, and I think they're going to lay it on the Vikings.
The Vikings, is a 7-point spread. 7-point spread. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it is a 7-point spread. Seattle favored.
So I would take Seattle -7. I think there's just too much firepower on Seattle's team.
Okay.
Sorry.
So you're big on the favorites this week. I'm big on the favorites here.
Yeah. I'm normally big on the favorites, and then I just think Seattle. I think they're going to run it well. Chris Carson might be back. There's rumors of that. We'll see if he ends up coming back. I haven't heard officially yet if he'll be back in, so that could be a big boost for their offense, as if Russ needs more weapons.
Right.
Kirk Cousins, I don't see doing much. I think Seattle kind of keys on the run game and tries to stop that and takes their chances with Kirk Cousins throwing it down the field, although Jeffries, who's the rookie for the Vikings?
Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson.
From LSU. Right.
He's been looking phenomenal. So.
Yeah, he's averaging like 20-something yards per reception. He looks like an Air Force Falcon wide receiver out there, just bomb after bomb catching those. All right, here's the thing about this game. I think people are going to really hone in on Kirk Cousins in prime time. Oh, he can't win. He can't do that. First of all, he shouldn't win this ball game, okay? The Vikings are not good. Seattle is very good, okay? So I don't think that stat has any implication. It's in Seattle, which is always tough. I think Seattle has shown the past couple of weeks that it's a little – I don't want to say their defense, especially the Pete Carroll defense, it's kind of dangerous to say, but I really don't think they're that good. And they're not that good, and they have injuries underneath that. The past 3 games, they had the Patriots, the Cowboys, and the Miami Dolphins. Now, don't really know too much about all 3 teams yet early on the season, but for one, the Patriots, their offense isn't that great. But they almost won. They're 1 yard away from beating Seattle in that football game, okay? Moving on to the next game. The Cowboys defense, everyone knows, is miserable. Atlanta hung up $500,000 on them, and so did the Browns. So I don't take too much stock in what Seattle did on offense in that game. Obviously, Russell was cooking and all that, but I don't take too much stock there. Next, Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins kept it way too close for my liking in that football game. I think Seattle is good. I think they're going to represent the NFC down the line in the Super Bowl. But I think in this game, 7 points is just too much for me to feel comfortable. I think Minnesota can keep it close. Their offense showed way more progress than I thought they would last week against the Tennessee Titans. They could have won that game. And I think it's going to be a Dan Bailey missed field goal for Seattle to win this football game. I think it's going to come down to the end. Seattle up by, 1 or 2 with the chance to win for Minnesota. And I think Dan Bailey will miss the kick. Seattle will escape with a W. But I see Minnesota covering this spread.
So Seattle's defense hasn't been particularly good all year in yards allowed, but they are +5 in the turnover battle.
They have, but here's the thing about turnovers. Turnovers +5 as in they have 5 more takeaways than their offense has turnovers?
Yes. Which their offense doesn't turn the ball over.
It doesn't,
which makes it hard. Right, which makes it hard for the other team to score. And if you're not putting your defense in bad spots, your defense is going to be all right, and it gives them more time, more plays to get the turnover.
I'm just expecting a big game from Dalvin Cook. I'm talking about a screen or 2 going for a touchdown, maybe a big rush play. And I just don't trust Seattle's defense enough to prevent a garbage time touchdown to cover or anything like that. I see this being a closer game than expected to close out Sunday night. So I'll go with Minnesota +7, and you have Seattle, correct?
Yep, I on that one.
All right, so that's everything for Sunday. Actually, anything that we can bet on for now, but we can dive into those other games that the spreads aren't released yet. We'll start off in Tennessee, where we have the Buffalo Bills, the undefeated Buffalo Bills, going up against Tennessee. We don't know if this game's happening, and that's why there's no line right now. COVID has been a nightmare for the Tennessee Titans. They introduced it to our beloved league. That's why they had to postpone the game last week. And this week, we thought everything was safe, but 2 more Titans tested positive this week, and this game's now in jeopardy.
It was reported that they held practice, too, when they weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
The league told them not to hold practice, and they're like,
breaking a lot of protocols. They're definitely breaking some protocols to Tennessee. Give me your thoughts about this COVID, and let's jump into the game, and let's hope there is a game.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just clear if one person tests positive on your team, you just need to keep that person away and follow all the protocols in the NFL. The Patriots did it, and I think they did it really well. Theirs was Cam Newton.
Yeah.
What amazes me about that situation is I don't know how Cam Newton got tested. The test came back positive, and in between the time waiting for the test to come back, he wasn't around any of his fellow players. So
I don't know how it works.
Pretty interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but now Gilmore is
who was hugging, getting really close to Patrick Mahomes there, to much of the dismay of Chiefs fan. We'll talk about that game in a second too. That game has no spread.
Yep. So overall, though, Tennessee, I'd say they're. I don't know. What can you say about this team? They run the ball, they don't turn it over, and they have a solid defense. I think Tennessee's able to be in any game they play.
Yeah, that's kind of their style. They're a boring team, right, but it works.
Very boring.
They're boring, which means they'll stay in the game, and that's all you can ask for with a Ryan Tannehill.
When you stay in the game, you're going to cover a lot of spreads as the underdog. Right. And you're not going to cover a lot of spreads as the favorite.
I agree.
So even with the Bills, Josh Allen playing out of his mind, he's looked so good this year. So I take the Bills, but not take the Bills any more than -3. I won't take the Bills any more than 2.
The opening spread was around 8, I believe.
Yeah. And in an 8-point game, I would take the Titans.
I would take the Titans too. If that's the case. Here's my thoughts on Titans. Last year, obviously, they go to the AFC Championship game, right? They're there, front and center. They have a big lead on Patrick Mahomes, which we now know means absolutely nothing. But they had the pieces there to win football games. Derrick Henry last year was an absolute animal. Okay, he was running down, just trucking everyone. And I know we're not, in the heyday of winter and fall quite yet, so maybe that's why he hasn't been percolating for that Titans team quite yet. But Ryan Tannehill had one of the best quarterback performances in NFL history last season when he came out on relief for Marcus Mariota. Both of those players have kind of regressed. I think we were expecting a lot from A.J. Nukes Brown. He hasn't done too much. He's been hurt. I know that. This team has been a little bit underwhelming, I think. They have been winning, but based on their record, they've been winning. They've been playing pretty well. And they're going to be well coached. So that's going to keep up in games. I don't see them ever losing a game by more than 7. I don't see them winning a game by more than 7 either. They're against a team like the Jets or Giants. So that's my thoughts of Tennessee. Buffalo is undefeated. Josh Allen, if you had to put him up there for MVP, for me, he's top 3. It goes Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen right there at number 3. And he's been damn good. 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. I know he has a fumble issue, but that's kind of his way of playing the football. It's just he's kind of like Brett Favre, where he will, take some chances he doesn't need to. He's a gambler. He's a gunslinger, but it works. He has a cannon arm. He finally has a receiver over 6 foot tall, and Stephon Diggs, a big, deep threat for him. I like Buffalo a lot this year. I think they'll challenge the Chiefs for the number 1 seed. Like I said, there's no spread so far on this game. If it's a pick 'em, if I'm just picking money line, I'm picking the Bills all day in this game. If it's a spread anywhere over 5, I get a little iffy. I would say if we just call it at -6, I would take Tennessee with the points +6. But like I said, we have no idea if this game is going to be played. We have no idea what the spread might be. But I think those are my thoughts on the game. Any follow-ups there before we move on?
Just a quick side note. You compared Josh Allen to Brett Favre.
Yeah.
Brett Favre went on air and said that Josh Allen was going to be the next Tom Brady of the division, winning the division, just dominating.
There you go. That's the thing. We didn't even mention Sean McDermott, but their coaching staff is also very, very good up there in Buffalo. All right, we got next. We have the Raiders of Las Vegas against the Kansas City Chiefs. This game, again, no spread. No spread. COVID, Stephon Gilmore, Patrick Mahomes, quarantining from his fiance. You got a whole bunch of storylines in there. Give me your thoughts.
Hey, John Gruden in Vegas got a little something cooking. They got a little swagger to them this year.
They do.
They got Waller, who's a weapon for them.
Waller is one of the best tight ends in football.
Yeah, I think he's rapidly moving up the ranks. Last year, he had a great year as well. I think a lot of people overlooked that because he was on my radar last year, and I was just like, man, this guy just keeps getting catches every game.
Sure.
So I think Vegas has kind of got into a rhythm with Gruden and Carr. I think the excitement of being in Vegas has helped them. I think they're going to continue to play well throughout the year. Obviously, at a money line pick, I'd pick Kansas City because they're going to blow them out of the water. What did this line start at? I would guess that'd be like 11.
Let me check.
13. 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of points, but the Raiders can. There's just no way. Derek Carr. This is the last season in a Raiders uniform, in my opinion. I just don't think they can hang with Patrick Mahomes, especially because Mahomes did not have a great game against the Patriots. I think they correct that this week, and they make a real point of emphasis to start getting their offense back on track. And I don't know. I don't see them not putting up at least 30 points every game the rest of the season.
I think Mahomes has been having a down year by his standards, which is still top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Sure.
But even though the stats look really good, he hasn't thrown a pick, but he should have thrown 2, maybe 3 in the Patriots game. They just dropped him in the secondary. And his 2 touchdown passes that he had, his only 2 touchdown passes he had were just the little jet tosses.
Yeah, I agree.
So
the Chiefs have been
struggling. So I agree.
I
think this is going to be the get-right game.
When Mahomes needs to be Mahomes, he is Mahomes. And what I mean by that is when they're down, when they need a score, when they need anything like that from Mahomes, he is there and he delivers. And so far this season, he's never to do that. So I think it's hard to really judge how he's doing until we see him in that situation. And obviously he doesn't want to be in that situation. But until we see that, I'm not worried about Mahomes. He is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, if not the best. I think it's between him and Russ. But what do you think about that?
I think he's going to start hearing this noise of Russ and Aaron Rodgers. This talk of, these guys are better, and like, maybe we crowned Aaron Rodgers, maybe we crowned Mahomes too early. So I think he's going to have a bounce back game against the Raiders. Because I think the Raiders are a very volatile team. If they start off a game well, I think they're going to just keep on grinding throughout the game and play good. But I could see Kansas City hanging 14 on them in the first 5 minutes of the game, breaking their will, and it just being a blowout from there on out.
I can't explain it, but this feels like a Denard Robinson game. I feel like Denard Robinson you're gonna be checking fantasy, and you're like, how did Tyreek Hill do? How did Travis Kelce do? And freaking Denard Robinson is gonna have like 3 touchdowns by halftime. I don't know why. I can just feel it in my bones.
I don't know about all that, but I do think the Chiefs will have a big game.
Don't sleep on D-Rob. All right, next up, I don't know why this game has no spread up yet. We have the Arizona Cardinals and the New York Jets. Arizona, I think everyone was really high on them after week 2. It looked good. Kyler Murray, is he an MVP? Is he this? Is he that? DeAndre Hopkins, how many catches will he have this year? Can he have over 130? Something just ridiculous stuff. And I think we all do that in the bottom of our hearts. Like, there's no way this can continue, and it hasn't. The last 2 weeks, they put up 2 duds, and now they kind of came back to earth. But the perfect antidote for that is going against the New York Jets, who are the most miserable franchise there is in maybe all of sports. Not only that, they're going to have Sam Darnold this week. They're showing Joe, I'm elite Flacco, and I think the Cardinals are going to kill him. If I had a money line, I'm putting everything I have on a parlay between the Arizona Cardinals, the Kansas City Chiefs, and then I'm going to also put some money down on the Seattle Seahawks. I don't see how any of those 3 teams can lose. I would put down so much money on a parlay of those 3 money lines and just let it ride.
You don't want to add Cowboys to that parlay?
Yeah,
I would have the Cowboys.
I would actually have the Cowboys there. Yeah, we'll discuss that more later at the end of the show. But that's kind of off the cuff. I just don't see those teams losing. It might be a decent payday. But what do you think of Cardinals and Jets? Obviously, one team sucks and one we just don't know.
Yeah, Jets. I don't think I could, in good faith, put a bet on the Jets all year.
I would never.
No matter what the spread is.
They could be given 20 points. I'm not taking them.
Yeah, they are so bad. The Cardinals, they have been struggling, and I think part of their struggles, I don't think their defense has been playing particularly well. And obviously, Kyler has not been the week 1 and week 2 Kyler.
Yeah, I agree.
We've seen flashes.
Yep.
And I don't think the Jets have the people to contain Kyler along with Hopkins and their other weapons.
No.
I think their running backs, I think Edmonds, we don't know if Drake's going to play, but I think Edmonds will have a pretty big game.
Yep,
I think Kyler will have 1 rushing touchdown and 2 or 3 passing touchdowns.
I'm with you there.
I think they finally get Hopkins a touchdown this week, too. So
yeah,
I think it's just going to be a big offensive get-right outburst.
Yeah. I see 3 get-well games here. I got the Cowboys get well against the Giants, Arizona get well against the Jets, and Kansas City get well against the Las Vegas Raiders. Even though they didn't lose, I think their offense has enough pride to just be like, you know what, we need this game, even though, they're undefeated.
I don't know if I'd call the Casey game as much as a prove-it game. But
yeah, I'm with you there. That's semantics. We got one last game for Sunday. No spread, COVID reasons. The Broncos.
We talked about Denver and Patriots?
Yeah. Denver Patriots.
Cincinnati and Baltimore, too, we got.
Oh, you're right. I'm missing one. Yeah, we'll talk about that one right after. Look, for this game, I don't have too many thoughts. Denver is Denver. Quarterback position is a big question mark. Their defense, when you lose Von Miller, it's going to be tough. They have Bradley Chubb doing pretty well, but, their defense isn't very, very good. And I think if this was in Denver, it might be a little bit closer. This is in New England. Bill Belichick, after a loss, good luck.
What time is this game at?
It's the afternoon, the 4:20 game.
Okay.
I don't see the Patriots losing here at all.
So
I'm not at that parlay I mentioned.
Yeah. So the Patriots, I could see having a pretty close line. I could see the Patriots only being favored by 4 because they're going to be out Cam Newton and probably out Stephon Gilmore. But I think the defense still has so many loaded people.
Yeah,
defense
is just going to be 6. I can see Patriots 6 here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say around 4 to 6 would be my guess for that line, just because they see Cam out and they see Gilmore out.
I'm taking Patriots there too, no matter what.
Yeah. I think Patriots. I think 8 may be my cutoff for the Patriots at +8. Yeah. -8.
Yeah,
sorry.
8 to 9 would be my threshold as well.
Yeah.
All right, more there.
I think they're just going to run over them.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're going to put the ball in their quarterback's hands much unless it's pretty safe throws. Yep. Right. And their defense is going to get takeaways. Maybe.
Yeah, I'm with you there. So, like you said, we got one more actually that I missed. We have Cincinnati at the. I think this is going to be a fun game. I'll definitely be tuning in every time Scott Hansen mentions it, and that's Joe Money Burrow against Lamar Jackson.
Backdoor Burrow.
These are the 2 quarterbacks that I think will be at the top of this division for years and years to come. Bengals finally got a win. The Ravens, they got embarrassed on Monday night a couple weeks ago. They got back right last week. I see the Ravens here obviously winning this football game, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think it's going to be pretty similar almost to that Seattle and Miami Dolphins game where we're like, hey, Seattle's going to win, but when are they going to pull away? I can see that happening here in the Cincinnati game. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know why this game there's a line that up, but I thought the line was somewhere between 11 and 13.
Yeah,
I would definitely take Cincinnati on that.
I would too.
Baltimore, I think, they'll obviously run the ball, which slowing down the game already leads to a closer score.
Right.
And then Burrow can just sling it. So I think even if they're down by 20, I think Burrow can get 2 touchdowns and get them back within the cover. I don't think Cincinnati will win, but I think this is a division matchup. I think Cincinnati's going to play hard, and I think Baltimore is going to get a little punch in the face from Cincinnati, which they haven't had in the last few years.
Yeah, I'm with you there. That takes care of Sunday, and then we only got one more game to go over and preview, and that is the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Now, this game, another Monday nighter for the Saints. They just had them a couple weeks ago. They got embarrassed. in front of Booger McFarland up there in the studio, no longer in the broadcasting booth. Justin Herbert looks like the real deal. I did not expect much from him when he got the call when Tyler Taylor went down, but he has been lights out. And he should have won last week, I think, against Tampa Bay. He had some dimes in that game. Drew Brees is on the other side of his career. I think we all kind of know that. Those whispers are turning into more, conversations. I think those conversations after this game are going to turn to shouts for Drew Brees to maybe, I don't know. I don't know if it's Jameis time, but I think people are going to talk about, is it Jameis time after this game? I just don't see the Saints doing well in this game. I think the Chargers come down to the Bayou, no home field advantage, and I think they sack Drew Brees many and many times, embarrass him, and I think Justin Herbert shows Saints fans what it's like to have a quarterback with a live arm. And I think the Rams here, or not the Rams here, but the Chargers here in an upset are going to actually take this game. I'm going to take the points. I might even take the money line here. Give me your thoughts here.
I don't know if I would do something crazy like take the Chargers on the money line. I think the Saints are going to win this game. They still got Kamara in the backfield. Drew Brees is still capable of dumping it off the Kamara. I think the Saints have played solid this year. I mean, you said they got embarrassed against the Packers.
Packers and the Raiders. I can see the Packers, but the Raiders.
The Raiders wasn't great. But I think the Saints, as they going, they're notoriously bad at the beginning of the year. I don't know what it is about the beginning of the year, but Sean Payton's like, yeah, we don't care about these games. We'll really just pick it up mid-season to late in the season. And then go and lose in the playoffs.
I think the spread's going to be around 7.
It's at +8 right now. You think it'll drop to 7?
I think it's going to be a 7, 7.5. I think it'll be 7.5 Friday, Saturday. I think it'll get down to 7, unbalanced Sunday morning. But I like the Chargers here. If it's anywhere above 7, I'm taking them. I'm not a believer in the Saints this year. If they prove me wrong, they prove me wrong, and I'll readjust. But I like Herbert. I think he has more command and more control of this offense. He's just going to get better and better. And I think that defense and that pass rush will get to Drew Brees, and it's not going to be pretty. But we'll see. I think that's the games.
Yeah, Thomas. I'm reading right here. It says Thomas is going to be held out.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think this is the game that we see Justin Herbert, maybe beat one of his idols. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll take the Saints money line. I don't know. The thing that really entices me, though, to take the Saints and eat the 8 points is Sean McVay loves to run up the score. I don't know what it is about him, but he loves trying to run up the score and just putting up as many points as possible.
You talking about Sean Payton?
Sean Payton, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, Sean Payton.
No, he does. He does not. He sweeps the leg. Quote my favorite movie from the 80s, Karate Kid. He sweeps the leg.
Hey, he sweeps the leg, which is the reason Mike Thomas is on the sideline. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm with you. All right, Moss. That covers all the games. Give me your locks for the week. Give me the Mossing logs. Take it to the bank. I don't even have to call my wife. I'm just going to take the money we got to use for the mortgage and just put it right down on Bovada. Give me those picks. I need some winners.
So normally I pick 5 games in a week.
Okay.
But seeing as we got 6 games out, it really limits me. So I think I'm just going to I'll go with 3. I'll just go with 3.
Yeah, give me 3.
I'm going to take the Steelers -7 at Philly.
I like it.
That's the one I like the most.
I agree with you there. What else you got?
And then I'm going to take, and then since Browns are just -1.5, I'm actually going to take the Browns on the money line, get the little extra money out. I don't think they're going to lose by a point. I don't think they're going to lose at all. So I'm going to take the Browns just money line. And then I'm going to take Seattle at the Vikings, which I know you may not like, but I think those 3 games. And then the other one I'm interested in is the Rams -7.5 at Washington. I'll actually take them. So those are my 4. We got Rams -7.5 at Washington, Steelers -7 versus, or Steelers -7 versus Philly, Browns money line versus the Colts, and Seattle -7 versus the Vikings.
All right. I don't have locks. I'm gonna give you a parlay. Actually, I'll let you handle the locks. I'll handle the the home run shot. Okay. Here's a parlay for you.
Everybody loves a good dinger.
Here's a good money line parlay. If this loses, I'll eat my hat. Ready? We're gonna start early. You want to start early on parlays. You want to get your feet wet Thursday if possible. And good thing I love Tampa Bay this Thursday. We're gonna take Tampa.
Oh, I missed the Tampa Bay game. Add that to the locks.
All right, so you got more locks than you thought, huh? All right. So you got Tampa on the spread, I'm assuming.
Yeah, Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, Tampa -4.
All right. Well, here's my money line parlay. We're gonna go with Tampa, Kansas City, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Dallas, New England, and Seattle.
Are these all money lines? Or
money lines,
all money lines.
All money lines.
Locks. Okay.
Yeah. We'll let our stats guy compete what that would be, but we'll tweet that out from our podcast account. But that's my money line parlay. We got Tampa, Kansas City, Arizona, Pittsburgh. I'll throw Baltimore in there. Baltimore, Dallas, New England, and Seattle. That's 8 games. 8 games, 8-0. Guarantee. It's the Patel guarantee. What do you think about that one?
8-game parlays, always exciting.
Oh, hey, they're money lines. They can't lose. We'll see.
I tell myself I can't lose a lot, but
Hey, that's the fun in betting. You don't want to bet anything you can't afford to lose. It's all fun and games.
Never bet anything you cannot afford to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this is our first inaugural podcast. So we just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share your thoughts on us. Is there something you like we did, something you didn't like we did, something you wish we covered, something you're like, hey, you guys are idiots. Don't talk about that anymore. So leave your comments below. And thank you for tuning in.
Let us know what you think. We're flexible. We're dynamic. I might shave my mustache. Mossing might not look like a blueberry next time. We are willing to change.
I might grow a mustache.
It's not you, it's us, as we like to say. All right, everyone. That covers it for this show. We'll be watching along with you. Follow along on our social medias. We'll leave down below. And let's go win some money.